myself in the face with her hat. Hello. It is me, not in a turtleneck today. We were in a t-shirt. It is getting warmer. It is spring. I thought I'd quickly run through reading wrap up. We had a really good reading month, I think. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my Goodreads. We have 21 books so far in the year 2022. So, we good. Let's see, for the month of, what is that? March. For the month of March, we read 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We read 8 books. Started the month of March with Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh. My first Moshfegh, I really do need to read more of her work. She has one coming up about witches, I think, from the medieval era. Very excited about that, but probably going to read either Eileen or My Year of Rest and Relaxation in my Moshfegh journey. But Death in Her Hands, I thought it was interesting, the whole way it opens up. I think for like a literary nerd, it's really or like a writing nerd, it's really interesting because it's really about the novel and how a novelist forms characters and how they form story. And it's just that. It's basically the breakdown of the meaning of art, how art is created, and essentially a character study. But very claustrophobic, thoroughly enjoyed it. I can understand why it's not a cup of tea for some people, but for me, as someone who enjoys writing, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Next was Unlikely Animals by Annie Hartnett. Received this as an ARC from NetGalley. Thanks, NetGalley. I did not finish that. You know why? I mean, it was fun. What I think it is it works better as a mini-series. And if it ever became a mini-series, I'd watch it. About this girl leaves UCLA, drops out, and comes back home in the middle of nowhere. Has this like power to heal people of like ailments and stuff. Kind of cool, kind of witchy. But it just didn't pass the vibe check because, I'm sorry, for someone who comes from LA and you have a character who leaves LA as a setting there was no sense of setting. There's no sense of place or any details about LA. And that's just weird to me. I don't know, for someone who has lived in LA and has, you know, read literature about LA, you just can't write a character who leaves a place like LA and not write about it. I think I stopped around the 30% mark for that. I read it off my Kindle. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I grew up reading John Fonte, Eve Babbitt's. I grew up reading Joan Didion. LA, for having grown up there and having a sense of place, it's a must. And to ignore that just seems really odd. So did not finish that. Moving on to Glitch Feminism by Legacy Russell. Really cool manifesto about trans POC body. And yeah, it was really enlightening about what the body means and how it encounters the digital space and bridge between IRL, wait, what am I trying to say? To the internet world and the real world. And just the bridge between that and how the queer POC body exists between those two worlds or those two spaces. Very, very interesting read. Next was Transitions to the Tanglish by Joshua Ip. Mentioned before, my first piece of Singaporean literature, even though it's poetry. Very interesting. I'm excited to read more from Singapore. A very timely read. It's about love in the time of Corona. Yeah, honestly, quite forgettable. Nothing really stood out for me. I guess in the context of how these, like looking back at these books a month after, yeah, non-impressionable. Glitch feminism, slightly impressionable, only because they write about Juliana Huxtable, who I then later read, or I had a book by Juliana Huxtable, and it's been on my shelf for a while. I connected the two dots there. Death in Her Hands, not impressionable, but as my first mosh fag, I thought it was quite interesting. Unlikely Animals, not impressionable at all. Then we read The Idiot. I think my favorite out of all of the things I've read this month. Yeah, I don't think I read a first love story in such a long time. So it was really good and really brought me back to my undergrad years. Really fun. Loved Ivan. Just the whole experience of that time in my life. That book took up the majority of the last two vlogs, so I won't get into it that much. On Being Blue, that was nice. It felt like I was back in the classroom talking about literature, so it was good. I have a huge list of notes that, like, huge chunks of notes that I'll probably go back to. They're all saved in, like, my Goodreads thing. So, I mean, I think it was a good reference book for future writing, so that was very fun. Mucus in My Pineal Gland by Juliana Huxtable was my next read. I think I just read it at the wrong time. I feel like if I read it when I first found it in that bookstore in New York, and I read it then and there in that time in my life, I would have ate that shit up. So good. Really looks at the power structures that we have in place from like such an early time period. She wrote it in 2017. It was ahead of its time, but that time has passed. So it doesn't hit as hard as I would have loved it to have hit me. Does that make sense? In 2017. But yes, very good. Takes me back to the good old Tumblr days where Juliana used to write on. And then my last book for March was Tripp by Tao Lin. Thoroughly enjoyed that. About psychedelics, shrooms, how it affected Tao. Left quite an impression. I don't think I'll ever revisit it. There were some moments, like metaphysical moments, that he briefed over that I thought were interesting, and I think I'll come back to. I also like have a bunch of notes from that I'll go back to later in the future. Yeah, like I liked when I first read Taipei, I loved it only because it was like right book at the right time. And it is so interesting how you read things at a specific time in your life and it's like the most memorable or most important book to you. I don't think I've come across a book that has like hit me at the right time, at the right moment, and like I haven't claimed a favorite book in a while. Seems like all my favorite books are from like my childhood or like during that transition from high school to university. It's been a while. Haven't really picked up something that has put me in awe. What's interesting about Tripp Talon is that there's a portion in the book where he's high, I think, marijuana, and he talks about how the human experience doesn't encounter awe. AWE. I don't know why that sounds weird out of like in context, but I guess that does make sense, or I guess that is important because yeah, awe. We don't encounter awe or awe-inspiring moments enough. Where was I going with that thought? Not sure. Anyway, yeah, that was my quickie, a quick one for you. A quick March reading wrap up. What did I say that was? 8 books. We are doing good. I mean, I guess 7 if you don't count my do not finish, but I mean, 30%. That's a lot of time. We'll see what April brings. I know it just started, but I already see the end of April. Does anyone just like do that? April's already done for me in terms of like scheduling things and stuff. So yeah, I'm wondering if I should do people, you know what I don't see on YouTube, or I guess I don't look it up enough, but watching wrap up for movies, I think I might do one of those. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, yeah, it's time for an unboxing because I got sent a care package from home. We are doing an unboxing. Look at the amount of stamps. Why are there so many stamps? I kind of like the vegetable ones. Do you see the vegetables? Little peppers, sunflowers. Is that squash? I am excited for this box because we got books, we got stuff, we got good stuff. Probably medicine. Curious about my pharmaceuticals, my party favors, my pharmaceutical party favors. That's what we're saying. Let's open this box. I'm so excited. Ugh. Ugh. My brother packed this and he did not like put any protection over it. Like, where's the protection? We gotta protect the goods, y'all. Because this hat is flat as heck. Look at this hat. Guess where this is from? Lit Fic from good old CJ Reads. I believe I was the first customer that bought a hat. I'm so sorry. Mad fanboying over here. Just hit myself in the face with her hat. I've been needing a nice green cap, so this came in at a very handy time. It is here in Korea. CJ Reads, big fan. Love the books that she covers. Next is this Uniqlo U bag that did not come out in Korea for some weird reason. Here's the opening. And then it just like, to close it, it's just like a flap down. It's like one of those bum bags. This is a terrible angle. Hold on. Yes, like that. A nice summer bag. I don't want anything like too bulky, but yes, that is what we are going to be wearing for summer. Yes, love that. Ooh, this is a heavy bookmark. Sunny's book truck from CJ Reads. It is so cute. I am so excited to use this. It is a nice, dense bookmark. Feels good. I used to be a big Care of subscriber. It just got too expensive to a certain extent. So I loved it when they partnered with Target. We got the immunity, vitamin C, very important. We got the multivitamin for men. Yeah. Oh, how thoughtful. My mom packaged the Tide to Go. This is embarrassing. We got a Tamagotchi, cause I don't got no friends. This is my friend. Tamagotchi. Yes, I'll put batteries in that later. Cause I have so much time that I can take care of a virtual pet. We also got Sport Tea. Has anyone tried this? I don't know who it was, but someone on TikTok. I tried it not too long ago and I almost finished the whole box. I don't know, it's such a unique taste. I've never tried a tea like this before. I don't even know how to describe it. Floral, fruity, green tea. There was like a moment where I ran out of coffee, or I just couldn't drink coffee. I was drinking way too much coffee. So I switched to this tea, but it was like, it kept me so energetic. I loved it. So I got more. I love it. It's green tea with vitamin C, electrolytes, and Siberian eleuthero root. Energize your day. So good. It comes in these like little steep bags, and then you just leave it overnight, and you have yummy tea the next day to keep you going. Sorry for the terrible angle and the terrible quality. We are filming from my iPad. My iPhone just ran out of storage, which makes no sense because we are on iCloud. Frustrations aside and technical difficulties, we are doing a book haul, a mini book haul from my LA bookshelf. First and foremost, Sex and Rage by Eve Babbitt's. My first Babbitt's was Slow Days, Fast Company. Fast Days, Slow Company? I don't know how that goes. And Black Swans. Love and miss LA, my home. So I thought, time to bring Eve Babbitt's to LA. We have Sex and Rage. How great would this be to read on my commutes, on the train, People are like, sex, oh my gosh, scandalous. Korea is way too conservative. Next we have Will and Testament by Vigdis Hjorth. I think I saw this on the booktube somewhere, or someone I follow on Instagram read this. Yeah, I just love the cover. It's just so haunting. I don't even know what it's about, and probably gonna keep it that way, because I really like jumping into things without knowing anything about them. And yes, I do judge books based on their covers, because you should. Because you buy a book, it costs a lot of money, and you want something sexy in your hands. Okay? I said it. I'm tired of books with ugly covers. Does sex still sell? It always sells. Thus, make sexy book covers. Very sexy. Mysterious. We love mystery. Next, we have one of my favorite authors of all time, and it bugs me that I have not read her entire bibliography. We have Clarice Lispector, Ukrainian-born Brazilian writer. I think my first book was The Passion According to G.H., where a woman, in her metaphysical state, downfall, black hole, ends up eating a cockroach. Phenomenal. I think after that, Near to the Wild Heart, which is so weird because I know I read it. I had the book, but I didn't mark it in my Goodreads for some reason. And I remember reading it and remember being it so profound. Like I remember I just had like this, I was reading it at the park before work, and I just like broke down in the middle of the park and started crying. Not that it was because it was emotional, it was just because, again, time and place and reading. And just reading things at the right moment. But yeah, this is The Hour of the Star. Again, sexy cover. Look at that cover with all the little stars on it. So pretty. So pretty. A slim read, so very excited to finish that. Next is this plastic wrapped I See You Mean. Gosh, what is the name of that bookstore in LA that has the annex right next to it with like, I'm blanking on the name. It's in Los Feliz. Love that bookstore. I love going to bookstores and checking out the reading lists. One of my favorite things. Like, what are people reading in different cities? For the most part, it's the same, but there are like a few books. And this was like on the shelf, and I was like, wow, love that. But essentially it's Lucy Lippard. Lucy Lippard? I See You Mean. Breaks down feelings, observations in a really experimental form. Excited to touch base on this somewhere in the near future. I'm not quite sure if any of these will be my April reading list, only because for the new Ocean Vuong book, Time is a Mother, and I want to read Pure Color by Sheila Heti, which will be my first Sheila Heti. I think Jessica Au, Something About Snow, that book. Those I'm trying to aim for my April reading list, but I'm not quite sure if the books will come in time. Yes, and I also want Towlin's Leave Society as an April read as well. I will probably add this to my April reading list, only because I am in the mood for some good old Lispector. I also bought a bunch of other Lispector books that in a book depository order, which will come sometime in the future, and I will do an unboxing of that. Anyway, yes, very excited to start these. Look at this color scheme. Do we like that? I like that. Okay. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone has an awesome Tuesday.